Ancient Heroes, literally at the last second before I hit go live, the Metal Don gave out a glorious belch, and
It was great.
I did catch it. I did catch it on my soundboard. I'm pretty sure.
I hope you did. Save that for future recordings.
Oh my word. Oh, that was something. That was something. I think they heard that in Japan. Toei's running scared right now.
They thought it was an earthquake, probably.
Probably did. Anyway, hello. I'm Nathan Marchand, aka the Sentai Guy. Not Sentai Guy. What am I doing? I'm so confused now with that belch. I'm the Supro, dang it.
I'm Chris, the Sentai Guy.
He's back again.
About time. And I'm Jake, the Metal Don.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah, it's been so long, Jake's forgotten that I go last.
Well, no, Nate, he buzzed out real quick.
Oh, dang it.
So I was hoping you'd go, so I'd know when to go.
Oh, stupid. StreamYard continues to be weird, and I keep wondering if we need to seek an alternative. But here we are. And we're probably gonna dive right into Kamen Rider ZEZTZ here very quickly, but we do actually have some things to talk about on New Generation Stars. I was a little surprised, but we actually have legitimate things to talk about because there were some developments for our boy Omega. And I think once we're done with all of that, we need to talk about the truckload of Kamen Rider news we got this week, because Friday was Kamen Rider Day.
55th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
55th anniversary.
And it looks like we got the reveal for our next Ultra.
Yes, which Jake and I talked about. We did a bit of a live reaction to the reveal last week, and so far, Subaraya hasn't yelled at us. Unlike you, Toei. This is why we like Supro more. I'm just saying. Although we've been very happy with Kamen Rider ZEZTZ so far.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Best Kamen Rider I've seen so far.
I mean, you've only seen a handful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost as good as Black Sun. It's like right there at it. Black Sun, ZEZTZ. It's just creepy.
I am not taking our rage bait.
No.
Oh, it's not rage bait.
I can leave again. The leave room button's right there. Keep it
up. We have Crazy Gandalf in the chat with us tonight, Mr. Jonathan Corright. Holy moly, there's 3 of ya. Enjoy the episode, guys. I'm watching on my Chromebook and hope it keeps shocking us.
Literally.
I think it's shocking him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm curious to see where we're going from here because it's gotten a little nutty, to say the least. So I'm trying to figure out where to, how to transition this here. Really quick, Chris, you've been catching up. You haven't been on the streams for a while. What have you been thinking of the show so far? Because we had a massive turning point just a month or so ago.
I've actually, real quick on both of them, I've been enjoying New Generation Stars because somebody who hasn't watched.
I'm talking.
I'm talking about both. Give me a minute, Nate.
Okay.
I'm enjoying seeing, look in the past and it's making me look forward to watching more Ultra. So it's doing its job, and we'll talk about the new reveals later on. And ZEZTZ has been fantastic. It has, if you like James Bond, it's got you covered. If you like the slice of life romance stuff has got you covered. It's if you like video games, it's got you covered because I was looking at the credits, and it turns out all their CGI is being generated by Unreal Engine.
Oh, Unreal Engine.
Yes,
Didn't know
that's
that.
why it looks like. Yeah, that's why sometimes it looks like they're walking inside a video game because they literally are.
Yeah, I've been wondering because we've been a little suspicious they've used because I've heard this, but we're pretty sure we saw some AI being used last week.
Maybe. I mean, unfortunately, AI has been being integrated. I would say it's 100% certainty because uh, AI is being so with them using Unreal Engine and AI being integrated so heavily into gaming. There's definitely some auto-generative AI going on.
Yeah, I just wish people would be a little bit more consistent with their feelings on AI because, how dare the Ninja Kids use it, but, if Toei uses it, that's fine.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but they're using like AI for small stuff, like and instead of hiring like it's video games, instead of hiring an artist to do all these little paintings on the wall that nobody pays attention to, if to save money, if they use auto generative AI for that, they don't care, and you don't either. You wouldn't unless somebody brings it up and notices it, and then they make a big deal. You're not looking at those paintings. Who cares if it keeps the games cheaper for them to do that? It's not like they're a completely unemploying artist. It's just little minutia that they want for world building, but they know nobody really pays attention to.
Right.
Right.
All right. We're 30 seconds away from episode 29.
Will this be the best one yet?
We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds. I'm going to put a comment for us in the chat. Previously on Kamen Rider ZEZTZ. What? It started over again. What?
Oh,
They were having trouble last week. Everyone had to switch over to Twitch.
Yeah.
There's that frickin' half moon that's hollow.
I love that thing. They need to make a lamp and sell that.
Would be cool.
Uh-huh. What?
This crashes his mom. Sigmund Freud would be
Um,
going nuts.
What? What? Save the cat? Good luck me? What is going on? Who's the main character
Who's the
here?
main
Oh my god.
I think it's Manami because she has that cat necklace, so that's why it's called Save the Cat. Maybe she'll
So,
become a new writer.
so who has main character syndrome this week? So, Sentai Guy, what's your opinion of the new theme song?
I like it quite a little bit. It fits with the new theme of the show of the second half, and as much as I love the first one, it wouldn't have worked with the direction they've taken for the post mid season direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it
It's
works. I like it.
Yeah, it's more to my liking than the previous one.
I really love the first one. I can't say that if I prefer one over the other. They both fit perfectly for what they're going for.
Yeah, I concur.
The show. This is the first time in a long time I've watched a show of any kind, and there hasn't been any misses for me so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even when they did their clip show, their quote unquote clip show, the way he did it, reviewed it, I thought it was fantastic.
Wow, wow, subtitles. No meowter, what it takes. Good lord. Where's my rim shot? That's the wrong button. Still can't find it. There we go.
You know, Nate, you must love this new writer because he is totally giving me Junior vibes.
That is a good point.
Didn't even think of that.
He does have some young noble junior energy.
Nate, you could be the English dub for him.
Oh, that would be fun.
Oh my gosh, he called him Noxie Pie.
Noxie Pie. Oh my god. Jaco?
Jocko. You need to watch more Dragon Ball, sir. That's Jocko.
Jocko? Okay.
Yes.
What? 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 Ah, frick, I need YouTube Premium.
I told you that.
I need to get it again, too.
What? Oh, speaking of Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Super, sir.
Yeah. No,
Again, I swear.
It's a scouter. It's a scouter.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Manami, what does the scouter say about their power level?
He's used that before. You might have said that joke before, too.
I did. Dude, this Nox is so awesome. He's going to beat you with a Nerf gun. Oh,
So
you are one lucky bastard. You know that. Please forgive Nox.
I love the way that he does his henshin, how he just twists it around.
Yeah. Wolf? Wait. Is this an alt mode? I was just going to make a comment about how he's too busy being too cool for school. Oh, jeez. Seriously, everyone's trying too hard to be too cool for school. Whoa. Did a Jason Voorhees teleport there. Oh my gosh. We suddenly got serious for a second.
That's a big ass cat.
What the F? When did the Mad Hatter and Catwoman have a baby?
All right, stop giving DC ideas, man.
There's somebody in the chat called it the Mad Catter.
Nice.
What?
Oh my God.
What? We're going there?
It's a butt plug.
She has a cat tail. She is now a furry.
No, more like a werecat.
Furry.
What? Your parents are dead? Are you Batman?
Yeah, they live together.
Yeah.
That's true.
You didn't figure that out, Nate?
I just hadn't thought about it.
Speaking of
I was
mommy
thinking-
dearest over here.
I was going to say, we've been
Oh,
joking
yeah.
about how the lady is your new waifu. Although I think my theory about her being like the female leader of Shocker is probably not true.
No. No, she's... I don't know if she's more of an anti-hero or anti-villain, but, you know, she's doing this to protect her daughter, so...
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll accept her as my waifu, but that makes... You know, that makes Nam my stepdaughter, so...
Oh, so does this mean that...
That's fine, because Nim is mine.
No, you're not good enough for her.
Yes, I am.
Nope.
We're going to have to fight.
So is the
You
lady...
have to get to her mother first.
Is the lady replacing barkeeper lady? You know, barkeeper woman from Fives?
Ooh.
I can respect her motives a lot more, but she's not as hot. But I agree with her motives a whole lot more. I can relate to a parent willing to burn the world down to protect their child.
What? What are you doing? You both made an illegal entry. Kick yourself in the head. He's counting sheep. Oh my gosh. Apparently, he doesn't. His powers of instant sleep aren't working today. Oh my gosh!
Somebody get this man a melatonin.
World peace. You think she's who do you think she is? Miss Universe? Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
He misses her silly unemployed brother.
100 million sheep.
Oh my gosh, this episode is mostly full tilt goofy. Oh, it finally worked. I got a better question. Why does Nem look like she's going to go on the Oregon Trail and die of dysentery?
It's a goofy episode, Nate. Just go with it.
Little House on the
What?
Prairie, anyone?
Doc Brown's wife from Back to the Future 3.
This is not a commercial for StreamYard's new AI.
What? What? What is happening?
Oh my gosh.
This is the weirdest role play I've ever seen.
This is Sigmund Freud's favorite episode.
Knox says, huh, maybe I should open that door. Nothing bad can happen if I open it. At least he looked through the keyhole. Wait. Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought for a second that was her. Nope,
No.
never mind.
So much worse.
Now this is where Baku throws off his clothes and he's in his agent outfit.
Oh, no.
Or he'll just henshin.
Oh my gosh. Poorly placed ad. Oh my gosh. That was some weird ads.
So why does he always start with this suit now?
That's certainly one of the more memorable monsters on the show.
It's got elements of the Mad Hatter, Harley Quinn, and Catwoman.
Don't do it. The cat's your sister.
It's a bad time to bring up the phrase about skinning cats.
Good job, Knox.
Face your sins. This guy gets a dragon.
Yeah,
Kamen Rider Dawn.
His henshin is so dope.
The Nightmare Rider.
Nice job.
If he'd have listened to me, I tried to tell him.
Wow, we talk about a mood swing. This episode started off very goofy. What's with the random captions at the bottom? There. Turned them off. Wait, is she actually dead?
We'll find out soon.
Someone was pointing out in the chat that he needs to use his recovery capsule. Dramatic pause. What?
Huh.
What? Yeah, the chat's flipping out right now.
What the heck?
How many plot twists can this show have?
A lot.
What? And you waited this long to tell me? Well, the title of this episode is Trick. Well, what the heck?
What a clip. A sibling secret revealed.
Oh, he gets another alt mode? A Mustery? Stop it, guys. Zescu your sister. You guys need to stop, okay? This is a problem. You need to stop. Okay. That was not on my bingo card.
No, not at all.
Very interesting.
This show is the king of plot twists.
Plot twist and cliffhangers.
The cliffhangers I expect. It's all these plot twists. How many of them? I don't know what's real anymore on this show.
Well, it's all a dream, sir. I mean,
apparently, it's like the song said, life is but a dream. And then there's another song that asks us, is this the real life or is this just fantasy?
Episode 50, Baku's going to wake up and it's all going to be a dream.
Oh my gosh, really? How much Inception are we going to get with this? Wait, wow.
Yeah.
I dare Toei to top this, because if this show sticks the landing, this might go down as one of the best writer shows, and that is not something I would have expected myself to say. Because anytime I've sampled a modern writer show made within the last 5 to 10 years, I'm like, well, you're flashy, and that's about all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I love this so far.
Yeah, this one's actually, by comparison to some of the others, it's a lot less flashy. It's maybe because it's closer to an anniversary season. I don't know. It feels a bit more. I feel a lot of the early Kamen Rider horror plot twist kind of vibe coming from it, for sure.
I'm looking at the comments in the chat right now, and Crazy Gandalf himself, I don't know if you knew about that. I should say, I have given Jonathan Cartwright the new nickname of Crazy Gandalf, but one of his comments was, save the cat, what the truck?
Well, yeah, you need to save the cat.
Reminds me of my least favorite Ben 10 episode, Gwen 10. Hate that timeline. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
I imagine giving off the name, that's where his sister Gwen actually has the Omnitrix instead of Ben.
Edwin, what are you talking about? Brutal like all blondes.
All blondes and Japanese do tend to be brutal villains. Junior.
Well, that's because you have to bleach your hair to do that. So they're aberrations. So Although
I'm gonna bleach my hair.
there is an Ultraman who bleached his hair later. Not in his show, but when he came back, about 10, sort of coming back 10 years later, he had his hair bleached. So there are exceptions.
Well, he became a punk after, so.
Yeah, Ultraman Dyna. So don't be hating on Dyna. Was he the plant? Is she the plant? Well, in case you,
are we the plant?
Yeah, are we the plant? No, it turns out she is in fact the plant. A lie, a lie. And I'm guessing this is when the big reveal happens, because Crazy Gandalf just says, what the hell? That is an appropriate response. Is Chat Noir, you mean Cat Noir? Making these cat puns? The guy from Miraculous Ladybug who gets shafted in his own show and makes tons of cat puns. They need to stop turning this into a Mobius strip. Sir, this is nothing compared to Fies. I dare you to try to watch Fies when Sentai Guy, now that his life has settled down, edits all those episodes and we put them out. You will see us lose our minds over the character relationships in Fies because we lost track.
Yeah, this is very straightforward compared to Fies.
Yeah, this is very straightforward. We needed a flow chart for Fies. We need some sort of maybe I don't know if so like a diagram. I guess not a flow chart. It's a diagram. It's like, okay, who likes who and when do they like who and when is who knows what, and also weirdest love triangle ever. It's a love triangle with two people. If that makes any sense, and no multiple personalities are not involved.
That love triangle was trying to stick a floppy disk into a CD player.
Even when it's love triangle in Kamen Rider, I've watched enough animes like that love triangle doesn't touch.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh God, no. No. Sword Art Online, dude.
We don't talk about Sword Art Online past season 1.
No. Yeah. She's my sister. No, she's actually my cousin, but she really, really wants to have sex with me.
As long as she's your third cousin. Whatever.
Sword Art Online, man, is something. It's something. Edwin, to be fair, the bleached blonde protagonist in Sentai kept killing the same girl over and over, and he's played by a Kamen Rider. Which one are you talking about? Could have worse. Could have been like the Bloodshot comic with all those implanted memories. Oh man. I have, good sir. They needed to
talk. Yes. Yes, they did. We'll talk about.
I was gonna say, that was the conclusion we came to. Is like, if these characters would just talk to each other, most of this would be resolved in a couple of episodes. But nobody talks to each other.
Let's talk about something other than what do they call the kaijin in that series?
Orphanox.
Yeah, Orphanox.
The Orphanox. Yeah. Other than talking about Orphanox and writers and school, yeah.
I mean, what else is there to talk about?
Clean laundry.
Yes, and clean laundry.
And clean laundry, yes.
Yeah, because clean laundry helps make the world better.
Right. Yeah. Fies was such a trip to watch. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Edwin, you've got him on Sword Art Online right now. Abridged Sword Art Online is peak. Sword Art Online where the villain motivation was BS. Oh man. So I almost feel like we got to start a betting pool now. What other plot twists are we going to have going forward? Because so far, the first half of the show was a dream within a dream. Manami is not his real sister. What
50
what
bucks.
else?
50 bucks on all the code agents are related.
How?
Like they're all adopted, or they're all part
Yeah.
of the some kind of weird family somehow.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan's got a good one. Nox and Zest are brothers. I was gonna say that Baku and Not Junior are brothers.
No, no,
And
that
somebody needs to be somebody's dad
yeah.
at this point.
At this point, I have redubbed him as Kamen Rider Junior.
Kamen Rider Junior. Are you trying to get him to show up on the show now?
No, or Kamen Rider Gasha Dekoro.
Kamen Rider Gasho Tokuru. That's a little too long.
Nah, nah. I'm sure there's been longer.
And Sieg, that's the guy that we're talking about here. And Sieg is married to the lady.
No, I don't think the lady liked Sieg.
No,
We saw that
probably not. There are bridges even this show won't cross.
I don't know. Sieg might be somebody's father, parent, brother. I don't know. Cousin.
Sieg
Third
is
uncle.
yeah, great uncle, cousin,
He's the
thrice
brother,
removed.
sister, uncle, grandfather of Nemo. Nemo.
I am your
Nemo.
father's brother's room, something roommate.
Yes.
So what does that make us? Absolutely nothing. Okay.
Gotta get the Spaceball reference.
What's your question addressing, Jonathan? Because I'm not quite sure. We've been speeding along here quite a bit. Okay, well. So, Sentai Guy, since you still got a few episodes to see, are you intrigued or thoroughly confused?
No, I'm intrigued. I'm keeping up with it pretty well. I've read enough stories and stuff and watched it. I'm genre savvy and enough things. I'm able to keep up with all the different themes and elements that's got into it. So I'm enjoying it a whole lot. It's my favorite Kamen Rider so far.
Okay. Jonathan is trying wants the show to pull a new heart here. This is all a dream of Kamen Rider Gav.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't like you, Jonathan. You lose your get.
Says no bridges crossed. Yeah, you might have something. I don't know what to expect from this show anymore. What you were gonna say, Sentai Guy?
I said it that I'm enjoying it so far. It's my favorite Kamen Rider.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think we can, unless you guys have more to say about this episode, I think we can. Oh no, we got another comment. I was gonna say we can go to New Generation Stars, but what's Edwin got for us now? Maybe Baku will be converted to a super secret weapon, or his bad luck escalates till it's bad. Okay.
I think we've established his luck is pretty bad.
Yeah, okay. This is true. But he is the protagonist in a tokusatsu show. Bad luck usually follows them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, New Generation Stars. So, were you able to see this one, Jake?
I watched it, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch the ones before.
Okay. Well, this one actually had stuff worth talking about because we actually get some development for Omega. Namely, he's now been dubbed an official Ultra because he got the New Generation brooch. Cool. But, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little disappointed with this. He has separated from Kosei.
Yeah.
Because that looked like, I was like, wait, I don't think this is a clip. Is this actual new footage?
Yeah, it's new footage because I went back and looked to make sure, to see if there's anything post credits from Omega. That was not in Omega. That was created for this.
Which seems like a pretty big plot point to throw into an episode of one of the clip shows.
Yeah.
Wait,
like
what? What part about it?
He separated from Kosei and sent him back to Earth.
Yeah.
When he was above Earth?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just Serato again.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed with that.
But I think it's going to be kind of like a temporary measure, and they'll probably bring this up. I think probably what'll happen is he'll go on his adventures, and then because he said he'll rebond with Kosei at some point, and then whenever there's an official crossover, we'll get the Kosei and Serato Ultraman, and be like, yeah, after I went out there, I came back to Earth and rebonded with Kosei and told him all about it. So
it's similar to what Z said about him and Haruki.
Yeah.
Although that was 6 years ago, and he still hasn't gone back to Haruki.
Yeah, but this isn't the first time that an Ultra bonded with a human to save their life, then separated later. I mean,
well, no, it
66.
isn't. No, it isn't. But it was such an interesting. We talked about this. We thought it was such a cool idea that it actually combined the two typical Ultraman setups, where it's either the Ultra in human form or he bonds with a human. In this case, we got both, but we didn't get it until the last episode.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, and now they've undone that. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure what to think of that. We also did get an explanation for why Gamedan wasn't around. And it was like, you had amnesia? I don't know what to do with that. So I'm just going to keep recording data like I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Cool. This is probably the most significant episode that we've seen of the show so far. And we also find out that the Space Gazers didn't know who the Ultras were.
Nope.
They are not the same as Ultras.
Yeah, they look similar, but they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it is official now that he has been named an Ultra by Z.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one Ultra out of all the Space Gazers, and that is Omega.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this now, because it feels like basically what they set out to do in the first episode's been accomplished. So what are we going to do from here on out? And next week, they're going to be showing clips from, I think it's the Destined Crossroads, which was a web series that got edited together as like a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've seen that too. So I'm like, well, what are we going to do? And there's nothing it doesn't even seem to be anything that indicates that that the characters we've been following are going to be doing anything together. So I'm like, what? So what's left to do? Is it really just going to be a clip show going forward? The framing device feels like it's done.
Well, I have a feeling that he's going to be meeting other Ultras and getting familiar with the Ultraverse, and this is probably going to lead to something tied to the 60th anniversary.
That would make sense, actually.
So because they've also been talking about Arc and a few of the other newer generation, I guess.
I guess that would make sense. So we could see Omega having some interactions with at least some of the new gen. I would guess at least the new gen characters.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if for the 60th, if so, I'm just making some conjecture here, but based off the Ultra that we saw, that if I'm looking, what it looks like, it's a black and silver color scheme.
Are you talking about the hypothetical Theo?
Yeah, that looks like a black.
We still don't have an official name. We're just going off of Theo.
Yeah, but looking at the color scheme from what we saw, it looks like it's going to be black and silver, which I don't think has happened with an Ultra.
Once.
Nexus. Black and silver. Nexus. And then we could end up seeing, if with it being Theo, I'm curious if we're not going to get a new version of Belial somehow for the 60th. That maybe that or they also, I saw something that was very interesting. I saw a commercial, and Supro does seem to try to tie a lot of their stuff together. As the 60th, they're releasing a new set for their card game where Zeton is the theme. So I'm wondering if maybe Belial or Zeton or something's going to have a major part in what they're doing for the 60th.
Well, it's interesting that you're bringing up Belial because they've kind of made things weird with Belial. They got into some like DC Marvel time travel shenanigans with him because I'm trying to figure out how to explain this briefly because it happened in the Destin Crossroads. So maybe that's, I don't know. They might get into it with Destin Crossroads next week, but before Destin Crossroads, Belial had died and been resurrected several times. But by the time you got to Destin Crossroads, he was canonically dead again at that point. But again, long story short, they have to do some time travel shenanigans in the Destin Crossroads, and they went back to a point in the history of the Ultras when Belial hadn't been corrupted yet.
Oh, okay.
And so you get to see him. You can still tell that it's him, but it was before all the stuff that made him who he is. Before he was expelled from Planet Ultra and before he met this other being that basically corrupted him into a monster. And that version of Belial is now in the quote-unquote present of the Ultraman multiverse.
That'd be cool. It'd be kind of cool to see.
So he's running around doing something. We don't know what because he hasn't shown up since Destin Crossroads.
But it would be really cool if in the Destin Crossroads one, if that version of Belial meets up with his kid.
Oh, with Jeed?
Yeah. That would be interesting.
He wouldn't even know who Jeed is.
I know, but he sat there and he's like, "Who are you and why do you look like me?" And then he's like, "I'm your son."
Yeah.
And that would.
I mean,
that would be cool.
I'm watching Jeed right now. But by the way, Jake, did you get restarted on Jeed this week? Because we were going to try to watch it together.
No, you didn't tell me you were starting it.
That's why I tagged you on my TikTok where I said I'm going to start it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
You were too drunk to notice.
Apparently he was. Well, you better start catching up. I'm 10 episodes in.
10 episodes? Yeah. Slow down.
I
can do that in an hour. I think I can do it in an hour.
An hour?
All right.
Hey,
30 minutes.
I watched Kamen Rider the first on 1.5 speed, so I can put Geed on 2 speed.
This is making me think
of like 6 speed.
Ludicrous speed. Anyway, it's the second Spaceballs reference I've made tonight. This is just making me think of this commercial I saw where it's like these two health nuts arguing with each other. And one of them said, like, I slept for 3 years last night.
That would be nice.
I'd be like, where'd you sleep? Access Monday?
The hyperbolic time chamber?
Something. But yeah. So get on that. But I don't know. I'm curious, and I do want. I'm thinking probably in the next few weeks we will get a proper reveal for this new Ultra. We'll assume it's Ultraman Theo. Thankfully, it doesn't look like that stupid AI generated image that was getting circulated a few weeks ago that looked kind of stupid.
Yeah. So this one looks pretty cool. I think there's definitely going to be some kind of celestial gimmick to him because when I was looking at his helmet, the way it sweeps back, it was maybe thinking of like wings.
Mm-hmm.
He looks a little bit
So
like Batman from behind.
It
yeah,
does. He does. That's why I'm really
yeah.
curious. They have me intrigued.
Ultraman.
And I really
Dark
like and I really like the style of reveal that they've been doing since Blazar. It's very evocative.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want, if it's Ultraman Theo, I want it to be absolutely incredible. Like seriously, it's the 60th anniversary show, and
Yes.
I want it to be crazy good
50
because
episodes.
yeah, I don't think they'll do
I'm just
50
kidding.
episodes.
I don't want that. I like 25.
I don't think they'll do 50 episodes, unfortunately. They
No,
haven't done a 50 episode Ultra series since Mebius.
of course it's not going to be 50, guys. It's the 60th anniversary. It's going to be 60.
Ah! They haven't done a 60 episode Ultra series since Cosmos, and I don't get why that one is 65 episodes of 3 movies. It's so baffling to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we do have a lot to look forward to. But speaking of Henshin Hero news, good grief, we got a truckload of writer stuff the other day, and if I had been a little bit more prepared, I would have actually had all of it at the ready to talk about. But the biggest one.
You're off your game tonight, sir.
Apparently, I am, but first, the biggest one that we got was the announcement of the next series. And I'm a tiny bit confused because it's spelled MY-TH, but it's apparently pronounced mice.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's how it's pronounced. Mice. I don't know. I kind of like it though.
And what people are kind of arguing over, and I don't know how serious they're trying to be, is they're like, are we talking about the other, because this is the 55th anniversary show, are we talking about the other writers being urban myths, urban legends? But people also say, like, the design of the logo looks like cheese. And I'm like, what are you smoking, Toei?
Is that what she was talking about? Because she said it's obvious in the logo, and I was looking at the logo like, what the heck? I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm confused by that
because you can see like the little pieces coming out. So yeah, I can see it now.
I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe if I see,
maybe there's going to be a lot of sewer fights with a giant crocodile.
Maybe,
yeah, or they're mice. Or they're changing it up, and now it's going to be mice-themed writers, and their enemies are cats.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
The writer is going to be a chef, and he takes his hat off. It's a button and Henshin.
You just made a Ratatouille reference, and I'm loving it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Kaiji United article that's going over all this stuff. So it's all of the new announcements. We have a new logo here, and in case anyone didn't see it, I will do a screen share here so you can see the new logo. It's a spiffy logo. I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we have that. And then let's see. It says new initiative, 3 film labels. Toei's first major, you know what? I'll just keep the screen share going. We'll do this like all the YouTubers who talk about news articles and they just highlight stuff and give commentary. There you go. We're legit YouTubers now. So new initiative, 3 film labels. Toei's first major announcement was the intention of emphasizing theatrical experiences along their flagship television shows. Not only will we get theatrical events such as Shin Kamen Rider, But Toei, can you give us an official Blu-ray or a 4K of Shin Kamen Rider, please? Please? I don't want to have to rely on Amazon Prime. Anyway, but Toei has revealed 3 new movie labels that will be pumping out content regularly, so fans always have something to look forward to. Toei is separating Kamen Rider into 3 different labels for film, and the final one is going to be a huge treat for Rider fans worldwide. This is a major move to make the brand bigger and better than ever. If this is true, they are trying. It sounds like Toei is finally getting it through their head that they need to take a cue from Subaraya.
All right, if it's for Rider fans worldwide, then it's obvious. Finally, at long last, we're going to get Furbus of Kamen Rider.
No! Unless he's a monster of the week and gets Rider kicked in the face. Anyway, so I get these. So then we have the Kamen Rider Chronicle. And then, this is the Den-O movie. I think there was supposed to be a Den-O movie.
20th anniversary, yeah.
Yeah, 20th anniversary movie. The film label is going to focus entirely on past writers and their legacies. The Kamen Rider Chronicle is also focused on introducing new fans to the series, so no prior knowledge is necessary to enjoy these classic throwbacks. The first film in this is labeled Agito Psychic Wars, which releases in Japan on April 29th. The title removed Kamen Rider in order to not contain itself within a box of a franchise. A second title in this line was also revealed at the event, a Kamen Rider Den-O 20th anniversary film, although the film won't be released until 2027, the actual anniversary of the series. Although Toei did reveal the 20th anniversary logo for the character at the event, the only additional details of the project are that it will be a multimedia launch event to expand the world of Den-O. That's potentially risky because anytime you do a multimedia thing, when you kind of trying to force people to buy multiple things to get the entire story or whatever, that could be potentially dicey.
Yeah, and the fact that there's like, they don't want to be boxed in by the Kamen Rider thing, that makes me nervous because whenever they do that, that means buckle up. We're going to get weird.
Maybe. Although I have seen the trailer for this Agito movie, and I've only seen the first episode of Agito, and the Agito movie is a little weird, judging by that trailer. Kamen Rider Animated. This film label is pretty obvious to guess at the meaning, but I can't begin to express how excited I am for the animated Kamen Rider projects. What shocks me is that it took until Futo PI before Kamen Rider had an anime. Only took.
And then they didn't have another one until Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider,
which isn't even really a real Kamen Rider anime. It's
it is.
It is and it isn't.
It is. But okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Well, don't take away Tojima's dream, Nate.
Okay,
you heartless bastard.
Fine. Okay. I'm just saying it. Ultraman got to anime in about 13 years. 13? Yeah, 13, 1979. But they waited all the way until a few years ago. I can't believe that. But still. So Kamen Rider.
Did Sentai ever have a animated before Go-Go Loser Ranger?
Actually, no. There's been plenty of stuff in animation that was clearly inspired by Sentai, but I don't think Sentai's had an official animation. Neither is Power Rangers.
No.
Kamen Rider Animated is also eyeing a worldwide market. It only took them a few years to figure it out. By a few, I mean decades. To get even more people into the franchise from anywhere on the planet. The first project is described to, quote, not look like generic 3D, end quote, and have a Japanese manga style of animation. The film will be animated by Shirogumi, which Godzilla fans will know from the visual effects of Godzilla -1. Oh my gosh. And Aniplex? Holy crap.
They did Demon Slayer.
Yeah, they've done a ton of stuff. The film will be a completely original story, meaning that it will not feature any legacy writers. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. And then Kamen Rider Premium.
What they
This
that's cool, but what they really need to do, um, especially since they like to lean so heavily on their legacy writers, is they actually need to go back and animate some of the earlier seasons. And
Okay,
then
watching Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider, seeing the animated parts of like the the legacy riders looks amazing.
yeah, and then as much as they can't do it with everybody, obviously, but try to get as much as the legacy cast as they can from those shows to come back and voice their characters would be awesome.
I mean,
Mhm.
the first two writers are still alive.
Yeah, so you can definitely have those guys come in and voice the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Try,
that's what they need to do because if they're really wanting to bring in younger audiences.
yeah, I'm trying to think out of the Showa writers. I know one of them is dead. The guy who played Rider Man is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if any of the rest of them have died. I don't think any of the rest of them have. But I'm also thinking there might be one more. I don't know, but I don't remember which one that would be. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but yeah. And then it's a Kamen Rider Premium. This is the label I'm sure every fan of Tokusatsu is going to be thrilled about. The Kamen Rider Premium will be focused on making giant blockbuster films intended for international audiences. See, there's an international component to all of these.
They're following. They've watched how much success Supro's had with
Ultraman.
with Ultraman, and they also see the gap that has been left by Power Rangers, and they're trying to capitalize.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But apparently, I guess they have they still got to fight with Hasbro to release any more Super Sentai.
Yeah,
That would be my
but
guess. Otherwise,
I
I would think you would think they'd be trying to push some more Sentai series over here because they think they would sell.
well, probably, but they're like, well, if you don't want to give us let us release the Super Sentai, we'll just go around to release Kamen Rider and screw all your stuff up.
I guess. And we'll
Yep.
focus on getting overseas releases. The Kamen Rider Premium will appeal to action and superhero fans everywhere, reaching the fullest potential audience overseas with theatrical films. No additional details were given. But the first film in this label is scheduled to release in 2028. So we're going to have to wait 2 years to see what that looks like. And this one I do remember hearing about. It says it's a Kamen Rider ZEZTZ movie, but it's a crossover with the new with
I want
Gavin
to watch the
Infinity.
new Gavin. I want to
I've
watch.
I've seen the first episode. It was a good start, but it does feel a lot like Super Sentai and less like Metal Heroes.
What I want to know is when are we going to be able to watch these movies? Because they're going to release in Japan first.
Well, of course they will.
How long will it take them to get over here?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it has quite the notoriety and acclaim of, say, a Godzilla -1, because -1 got to America in a month, and -0 is gonna be in America in 3 days.
Well, the Aniplex one that might there may not be too much related to that one because there wasn't a big delay between the Demon Slayer Japanese and international release.
Well, because they were simulcasting it.
Yeah,
They were
but they may do
simulcasting the
that.
show.
Yeah, but they may try. That might be one where they might try to do this a simulcast to see how it goes since it's Aniplex.
But it's also a very, very popular anime too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A lot of people watch anime. Not many people over here watch Kamen Rider.
Not as
yeah.
Tokusatsu is not as popular as anime, but I've been getting the impression for really, for like the last, I would say like 6-7 years, I feel like it's been steadily
6,
getting more
7.
popular.
Yeah.
I'm just
All right,
hoping that they don't do it in select theaters.
No. Oh, something else to talk about, but no.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
get to it. We'll get
yeah,
to it. We
but
may as well. But
no. but what I was trying to say is they might take that risk because it's going to be an anime, and even though people don't know Kamen Rider, like I said, there is a gap from that Power Rangers um thing, so they might advertise the crap out of it, and we might actually get it pretty soon to try to generate more interest in general for Kamen Rider.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks, Edwin. You've given us a new catchphrase. Coming at ya.
Coming at you.
There you go. Coming at ya. We ever need an episode title? There we go. Anyway, so have we?
I think Kamen Riders on Henchman.
Oh yeah. Well, you might be right. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've listened to any of those. But Kamen Rider ZEZTZ movie, and as you can see, he's not bringing it up, but it's going to cross over Gavin Infinity, which is why I'm curious if they'll let Shout Factory either show this on their YouTube channel or release it in some kind, because they're not showing Gavin Infinity, but
I don't know why.
Yeah, but ZEZTZ has been popular. Anyway, the next major announcement was the reveal of the summer release of the Kamen Rider ZEZTZ movie in Japan on July 24th, 2026. So right after G-Fest. This film will be a double it's a double feature with the new hero on the block, Super Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity. No details about the film's plot has been revealed. Okay, so it's just on the poster. So it's two separate movies. I thought it was going to be a crossover.
Okay.
So it's just going to be a double feature. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. So they could just show the ZEZTZ movie over here and not worry about Gavin Infinity. All right. And then Kamen Rider what?
I want them to do Gavin Infinity.
I would like them to. I'm surprised they haven't released it over here. But anyway, Kamen Rider Kabuto 20th anniversary movie. Kamen Rider Kabuto 20th anniversary. Kamen Rider Kabuto 20th Inheritor of Heaven. What a title. Was announced for November 6, 2026 limited release in Japan. The movie will reunite the original cast as their characters 20 years after the events of the original series. Who will be the Inheritor of Heaven? Stay tuned to and find out. Game Project Henshin. Project Henshin was announced by Bandai Namco for a mobile release in Japan only. I don't care. Japan only and a mobile game. I don't care. No details were given on story, gameplay, or if it will eventually release outside of Japan. Again, I don't care. I don't play mobile games anymore.
Okay, but I would like to play it.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah. And here you go. The next writer. See, this spelling just confuses me.
I'm calling it myth. I'm not saying mice. Sorry, that's myth.
Well, it's not. It's mice.
Yeah,
that's how she said it's
don't
pronounced.
You see the cheese? Don't you see the cheese? See all that
I
cheese?
just want to know what it means.
No.
Yeah. Well, give me a second. Let's see what it says. To end the showcase, the successor to ZEZTZ was revealed. The new writers named the names meaning is given emphasis of a toy, saying I want to say myth, but myth is mere fiction. No such being exists. From there, he became the sole hope, carving out the future, eventually becoming a mythological existence. That sounded like it was translated with ChatGPT. There was no news regarding a release date, but the show is currently in production and will likely debut sometime in the fall. With that final announcement, the Kamen Rider 55th anniversary sadly over. Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's just a nice little wrap up here. But I will admit, when I've seen when I've done some translations of some tweets regarding this, it did translate it as mice. So I am right there with you. I am incredibly confused. So there you go. We got a logo for the next Kamen Rider, but we've gotten a glimpse of our next Ultraman.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. All right, with Godzilla and Ultraman, go back up. I want to read that.
With Godzilla and Ultraman making a boom in the United States, it was only a matter of time before Toei's greatest hero made his grand debut here. I personally hope that Kamen Rider gets the recognition these incredibly ambitious projects are hoping to achieve, but only time will tell. Thanks for dropping by KU for
Okay,
a
so
quick
that was
summary.
his summary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to see if that was something she said or if that was his summary. So it's his summary.
Yeah, who wrote this? I didn't catch the author's name. Is it Kyle? Not Kyle. No, it's not. No. Someone else. All right. Not Kyle. What am I thinking of? Lingle. It's Lingle, but yeah. But yeah. Interesting. So yeah, it was a big deal on Friday. And I did absolutely nothing to celebrate. Does that make me a terrible fan?
Yes, you're a horrible fan.
I'm
Turn
a
in
horrible fan.
Turn in your Toku card, sir.
My Toku fan card, huh?
Yeah, your Toku
Yeah.
nerd card. Absolutely.
Yeah. Knowing Jake, he binged Master Rider.
No.
You had to think about it for a second there.
Okay, so TH does not exist in Japanese language.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it is pronounced mice.
Yeah. So it's probably myth. But since they don't have TH, they probably, because that's what I say, like, thank you. They don't say thank you.
Yeah, so it's more likely is myth. It's just they can't. It's kind of like the whole LR thing. It's just they can't pronounce it right.
And there's I think like TH and Z. Not Z. No, I think there's some other sounds that get mixed up, but L and R is the most famous one.
So
most common one.
Until I see a Kamen Rider with mouse ears and a tail, it's Kamen Rider myth. All right, I am not saying mice.
I joked on Twitter. It's like mice is a secret identity named Mickey.
That would be hilarious. That would be okay. Yes. If it's like we're actually partnering with Disney and this newest Kamen Rider is Mickey Mouse.
Oh my gosh! If his belt, he has two little ears that he puts on, and he opens it.
Yes.
That would be great.
And every time he henshins, he breaks out. He sings karaoke for a Disney song.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits the boat. Let it go, let it go. And
instead of henshin, he says Mouse-Toodles.
Call us. We have ideas.
It'll just turn into Kingdom Hearts. He'll have Donald Duck and Goofy following him around, trying to give him support. Doing it poorly.
Well, there are some Kingdom Hearts elements to Kamen Rider Z. So the moon is the key.
And
never played it.
You should, sir. You would enjoy it.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh! Look at all this whacked out nonsense that we're spitting out right now. I mean, it could be Mickey. Maybe he'll be Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
That's even better. Instead of just Mickey, all the Kamen Riders are famous mouses from fiction. So you can have Stuart Little, you can have Mickey Mouse, you can have Mighty Mouse,
Tom.
you can have Jerry.
Is it? Oh, it is Jerry. That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay, and all the villains are cats.
Yes.
Kind of like tonight's.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, here I am Googling famous fictional mice.
Yeah.
And the first three it mentions on the AI summary is Mickey Mouse, Jerry, and Stuart Little.
Yeah, instead of instead of Kaijin, that'll be the Meowjin.
Meowjin. Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez, yes, there we go.
Okay.
Well,
Gus. It has Gus from Disney Cinderella. Oh, we got to have Minnie.
Absolutely, we got to get the female right.
And we got to have Fievel from American Tail.
Yes,
one of my childhood favorites. Oh, the three blind mice from the fairy tale. So we gotta have three blind. We'll have three blind writers.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
So, oh, Pinky and the Brain. Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain. Yes, I like where this is going.
Toei.
Toei.
No, how could I forget about this? This one would be the best. He would be the best of the writers. No one could stop him. Reaper Cheap.
Hey, and then don't forget the
I don't know who that is.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars. The Reaper Cheap is from a couple of Narnia books. He is he's a swashbuckling mouse with a sword.
Yes.
Oh.
Reaper Cheap, yep.
It's listing
the first movie.
Yeah,
And
he was in the second and third ones. But and then it says Pikachu. He's listed as a mouse. He is technically a mouse, but
yeah,
he could be the electric themed mouse.
Yeah, Despero. Like this would be such a licensing nightmare. They'd all have to be pastiches. Itchy of Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah.
Danger Mouse. There's an obscure one for you.
Yeah, Danger Mouse.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Kamen Rider, Chuck E. Cheese.
The mouse from the Great Mouse Detective. Then you got the Rescuers Down Under, the mice there.
Yeah, they were on this list. They were on this list too.
Yeah.
I was going to say Kamen Rider Splinter, but he's a rat.
We'll take him.
Take it. He's the mentor. There you go.
That's what I was going to say. The rat is the mentor to the mice.
Yes, and he actually uses the original Henshin belt. Voiced by Kongo.
By who?
Kongo, the actor for play Kongo. Have him do the voice acting for
Japanese. Hongo. Okay, yeah.
Hongo.
Hongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say, hello, riders. Let me tell you about our origins.
Yes. Yes.
I made a funny. I just saw Ninja Turtles 2 in a movie theater a couple weeks ago.
Where he made funny.
The reason you go to see that is Ninja Rap in high definition on the big screen.
That's still my favorite turtle movie.
Ninja
I'm willing to accept that one. I am still more partial to the original, but
I like the original, but I don't know. The second one was the one I watched all the time growing up.
Oh yeah.
Funny enough, the second one suffered this same fate as Power Rangers Season 2 did. The moms. The reason why they stopped using their original weapons and stuff was because mom said it was the original was too violent.
They did use their weapons in the second movie, just not a lot. And Michelangelo never touched his nunchucks.
Yeah, and Leonardo and the only one who uses size on his weapon regularly at fighting was Donatello. All the others like Leo had those sticks, and Raph just did a bunch of punching. They didn't have him use his stabby weapons very much.
No, his stabby weapons.
His sai, yeah.
Yeah, his sais are actually meant to catch swords, so. Yeah. But anyway, this isn't a Ninja Turtles podcast. But yeah, so a bunch of stuff happened. But apparently, the other news item that you want to talk about.
So technically it is, because thanks to the comics, the Turtles are Power Rangers now. So
True.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are Henshin heroes, so this is a
True.
Turtles podcast.
This is true. This is true. I forgot about those comics. I did read those comics, and there's another one out right now. Never did pick up the action figures, though. I wanted to, but I didn't get those. Right now, I need to get my butt to a Target and start buying up all the Godzilla and crossover figures with Turtles, because I have one of them. Thank you, Jake. And now they're putting the Godzilla ones out. So I'm like, I'm gonna be spending money on a lot of plastic very soon.
But
anyway,
Rangers are out too.
Yes, I know. That's what I mean. Yeah, the kaiju ones are out, and they do look really good. They look fantastic, to be honest. Plus, Donatello is Jet Jaguar. You know me, I'm a sucker for Jet Jaguar. You want to make Nate happy? Get him anything Jet Jaguar. Because Nate has a bizarre
Jet Jaguar blow up doll.
Yeah. Not my first choice.
That's not my choice.
Do I make the obvious joke?
Do it.
Well,
if it was Astronema, we might talk. Anyway. So, but
we'll speaking,
I there was a point I was supposed to get a print of a piece of artwork of Astronema that was done like an old school pinup, and I never got it. So you might want, if you want to make Nate happy, talk to one of our artist friends and make that happen. Anyway, so speaking of Power Rangers, do we have to talk about this? I guess we have to, because I'm not convinced.
Let's do it, because I don't even know what you're going to say.
Legend of the White Dragon supposedly has a distributor and a release date. Supposedly.
Limited release in theaters.
By Go on Power Rangers Day, August 28th, right?
And I'm sorry, it's limited, and it is too niche of a product to generate enough sales for it to get a nationwide release. So more than likely, you're going to have to pay an obscene price for them to make up their losses for probably not even Blu-ray, a standard DVD, or wait till it shows up on Tubi to see it.
I have a feeling it might at best be a Fathom event, but I don't know if they'll be able to squeeze it in at this point, because I'm pretty sure the Fathom events get scheduled out pretty far in advance. So I don't know if they can do that. The only other thing I can think of is that they might send it out to like art house theaters, that show indie films.
Yeah.
And there is one like that here in Fort Wayne. But, if it does happen, I'll say it here. I'll say it here now. I think I said this on the Power Trip, but I told Michael, my co-host on the Power Trip, if and when Legend of the White Dragon gets released, I would drive down to see him in West Virginia so we could see the movie together and podcast about it. And I intend to keep that promise if at all possible.
I don't have high hopes for it. Honestly, I don't think it'll come to my area. I just don't.
Here's my thing. I will admit a lot of where I see this coming from is from a YouTuber who goes by the name Henry Resilient, claims to be a private investigator and has a ton of connections in like the indie filmmaking sphere and stuff like that. Claims he's had a lot of contact with people who've worked with Aaron Schoenke, and he's been telling everybody, he's like, yeah, this guy's basically a charlatan and a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And while I will admit Henry Resilient has a reputation for basically being an independent tabloid, just trying to stir up drama, I'm willing to grant that at least a good chunk of what he's been talking about with Shonki makes sense.
Well, like I said, um now I'm hoping
A charlatan
that
and a hack, excuse me, that's what I meant. Charlatan and a hack.
I'm hoping that it turns out, because there's a lot of people in this movie that I um I like. I hope it does well. I don't have high hopes, and it's not because of the talent on screen. Has nothing to do with that. I've what I watched Bat in the Sun early on, and when they focus on action, the action's going to be phenomenal, bar none. It's going to be phenomenal. They do action tremendous. The problem is when they get more behind than just a few one-liners, their dialogue falls apart, and it's not good. And I pointed that out, and I think I might have showed it to you, Nate. I know I showed it to some friends, and they agreed with me. The Wolverine versus Wonder Woman thing they did. The dialogue was horrible. They didn't feel like either of the characters, and I was like, yeah, and I made a comment below. It was like, and that's like great action. I'm listen, but that dialogue the dialogue is cringe. If that's the best you could do, you might want to stick to action. I literally got blocked from their channel. They didn't respond or anything else. It was a legitimate critique of what they put out because it was horrible. And the only way I can watch back this on content now is when other people repost it. Um, so I I don't have a lot of hopes for the dialogue. I don't when somebody responds like that to I wasn't being mean, I just like, I highlighted the positives, but I just said the dialogue was atrocious. It was cringe. It's not good. Uh, and so I don't have high hopes for it, and I don't think it's like I said, it's a niche product, and and the only way it was going to be successful was for Power Rangers still be on and generating interest. And as much as I love Jason David Frank, okay, if they were going to if they were going to use any of that, people being nostalgic about that window's closed. This is not. I don't think this is going to do well enough to get a nationwide release. I think
Mhm.
the fans who have supported and waited for a long time are going to be disappointed in what they get, and they're going to have to pay through the nose to see it, or wait till it comes on Tubi in 2 or 3 more years. That's the way I'm looking at it, and I've kind of lost interest in the thing altogether.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I've heard some people claim there was even a claim that the script got leaked onto the internet and people had read it and they said the script was terrible. But I mean, we don't even know if that was real or even the final script. Who knows? You know, what I've seen in the trailer, the dialogue seems fine. I'm willing to say that JDF might have been able to save the script or at the very least the dialogue because I think he would have a better sense of things.
Yeah,
But
and I hope that's the case. But if it was mostly Aaron and his crew, don't expect much. But if he took input from JDF or Jason Font or a bunch of these others who have experience, who actually are decent actors and did put in some good stuff on Power Rangers and the other projects they were involved in. I mean, they even have a guy from Arrow on there, so hopefully, I hope it turns
mhm.
out good. I don't, because of Bat and the Sun's involvement, I just don't have a lot of hope. And they've messed around so long and all that stuff. I just think any momentum they could have had is gone.
Right. And I've also been hearing, and again, a lot of this is coming from Mr. Resilient, but I've also been hearing stuff about how like some of the actors have dropped out. Like I heard I heard our boy Johnny Young Bosch dropped out of the project, and that short film that he posted on his YouTube channel within the last year, that was basically him doing what he wanted to do in Legend of the White Dragon. That's what I've been told, supposedly.
Johnny Young Bosch.
Yeah. That at some point he got so fed up with the project that he actually left. So he's not in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about Jason. I don't know about Jason Font. I'm guessing Jason Font is probably still in the movie, but I've heard Johnny Young Bosch was like, "No, I'm done." He just didn't want to put up with it.
Yeah, I'm sure Jason Font's still in it because they got him doing the Batman '89.
Okay, guys. But that's the other thing is Shonki is apparently a massive Batman fan. So I'm not surprised he's trying to pivot to this.
But yeah, around I remember, and I think it was during the production, Johnny Young Bosch said that he had to miss the conventions and stuff, and had an opportunity to actually be in a film with Robert Redford, and he said, "I'm going to pursue that," even though it's a small part. It was actually, you're being in a film with Robert Redford. That is a huge step in your career. So it could be for Bad Blood. It could be they could have been messing. He's like, "Listen, I got this opportunity. I'm going to have to take it."
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I want it to be if only for JDF's sake, I want it to be good. I will tell you right now.
Oh,
you know, if I get an opportunity to see the final movie and I'm disappointed with it, I wasn't even one of the people who backed the project. And if in light of the fact that JDF died in the most tragic way possible, and this thing is the punctuation on his life, and it's terrible, you may as well call that Power Trip episode Rant Master the episode, because I'm going to be upset.
Oh yeah, I want it to be good as well. I do. I know I've done. I don't, like I said, I don't trust Bat the Sun, but I want them to prove. I want them to prove me wrong. I want it to be good, not just for JDF, but for all the people who were involved. It was supposed to also be like I think a launching pad for his daughter's acting career. I hope she does well. I hope it's good for all the people involved who put in a lot of hard work. I want it to do well. I don't think it is, based off what I've seen from Bat the Sun in the past, and from the way I've seen they've handled their business, and the way that it's it is. And I'm not just talking about me. I was on their Facebook page, and if somebody disagreed with them, particularly Aaron, about something, he would seek to humiliate that person instead of giving a reasonable response. So I just don't like the people running Bat in the Sun. I don't think they're good people. And I think they've used JDF because Bat in the Sun did not get truly popular until they managed to get JDF to reprise his role as Tommy and appear as the White Ranger in one of their videos. That's when everybody started learning about the Bat in the Sun.
I was aware of them before that, but getting JDF for that video was a huge get for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were riding his fame ever since.
Yeah, that's why I'm concerned about this, because seriously, it needs to be it needs to not only be good, it needs to be stellar, especially in light of everything. And honestly, I think that's why he's been dragging his feet doing anything with it. And I think it's because he knows it's not going to live up to the expectations that people have built up in their heads. If JDF hadn't died, I think this thing would have been out a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yep.
And then if it was only okay, we all could have lived with that because JDF was still around. And they said they wanted to do sequels. They wanted to basically make this supposedly anyway, the start of a franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know. But at this point, I don't think it can. I don't think the movie can. I don't think the movie can be good enough to make everyone happy.
No.
Yeah. I agree.
Which is incredibly sad. I mean, it'll be better than a lot of Power Ranger wannabes out there. I'm sure. Because I've seen whatever the frick that thing on Tubi's called, MMPR, The Last Ranger Part 7, the Wrath of Rita or whatever it's called, but so it'll probably be better than that, but that's not hard.
It's not like I'm expecting an Oscar or demanding an Oscar-worthy movie for me to enjoy it. There's a lot of movies that people that's generally considered bad that I love. I loved The Guyver 2, Dark Hero. There's a lot of schlock in that. Look, this is a crowd who's okay with, in general, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, but we're generally okay if he's a little bit schlocky, that's fine. We're here to have a good time.
Yeah, well, Guyver 2 benefited from having Koichi frickin' Sakamoto directing the action.
Yes.
The Legend of the White Dragon does not have Koichi freaking Sakamoto.
True.
Don't worry. I'm sure it's going to still be better than The Last Jedi.
That's such a low bar, sir. That's such a low bar.
There's the button I need.
That is such a low bar.
Feels like a low blow. Jeez.
It's a low bar.
Last Jedi is the worst movie ever made.
I don't think I'd go that far, but anyway.
It's not Dragon Ball Evolution, but it's well.
I would rather watch Dragon Ball Evolution.
You know what? I would have to say I might actually agree because at least Dragon Ball Evolution didn't ruin what came before. The Last Jedi did.
The Last Jedi ruined everything.
Yeah, pretty much. The Rise of Skywalker wasn't much better because
it was more enjoyable though. I did watch it 7 times, 6 or 7 times in the theater.
Yeah. The opening crawl was Emperor Palpatine is back. You're telling us this in an opening crawl? We didn't see this on screen? What's wrong with you?
The Rise of Skywalker, I was kind of enjoying it, and then whenever Rey come up, you was lightspeed jumping? I was like, oh, here we go. Got him out of here. Oh, Mary Sue, back at it again.
The prequels are better than the sequels. I said it. I mean it. Kimmy can stop it. All right?
They're just as good, if not better, than the original trilogy.
You guys done roasting Star Wars?
Not Star Wars, the sequels. Those aren't Star Wars. Those are
fan fiction.
Yeah, at best.
Oh my gosh. We turned into a completely different podcast there for a second.
But anyway.
All right. Hold on. I will say that this last thing. The last thing about The Last Jedi, the only thing good about it was the camera that they shot it on.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Anyway, so I
But
think
yeah, when it goes into the Last Dragon, my last thoughts, it's just to me it's a little bit more disappointment that we were promised all these things. We're getting a limited run, and the majority of us aren't going to get to see it in theaters unless you drive hours and all that good stuff.
I don't know.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens. When we get closer, I think Michael. I think Michael told me that Wellgo usually works with AMC theaters. AMC's a pretty big chain, one of the big ones.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they made it clear that it was going to be in limited markets. So I think that's why it's going to be one of those things where they're going to test it, and more likely in like big markets to see if it can generate money there. And if it can't generate money there, there's no way they're going to release it into smaller markets because it'll be the only way it would get released like that is that there's for it to be a loss leader, something they could just dump all the losses from other stuff on. So they could just kind of say, no, this is the reason why we lost money. These other things were successful.
Right. I don't know. At this point, I just want this entire White Dragon
Hmm.
saga to be just over with. I'm over it.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
just over it at this point. You know, I would rather, as weird as it sounds, I would rather Dimensions in Danger be JDF's swan song at this point. Heck, I'll even take the what was it, Soul of the Dragon, the comic book.
Hmm.
Take that over White Dragon at
Yeah,
this point.
but I'm taking Soul of the Dragon. That's his Ranger Swan song, and that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am.
Apparently has some connections, from what I've been told, to the whole White Dragon thing, and it's been misrepresented that that JDF was upset with that comic. He actually was not upset with that comic.
No.
He was very happy with that comic, but at this point, I would rather take the word of these comic book creators over Shonki.
Yeah, it's. I think something that he said was taken out of context. He said that he was done with Power Rangers and he had come back so much. He was wanting to put all his effort into this new character he was creating.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. He'd been Tommy Oliver for so long, he was ready to pass the mantle on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to go on and do something that was his.
Mm-hmm. It should be noted, even though he said that, when I met him at Indiana Comic-Con, still very happy to be Tommy Oliver and be associated with Power Rangers.
Yeah, he just going forward, he was going to not, he was wanting to create a new character, and he didn't want to keep going back to Power Rangers. Is basically what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, he wasn't going to appear on the show anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was done playing while he would always be Tommy Oliver in that sense, he wasn't going to play the character. He was wanting to let somebody else take that over. He was wanting to be the character. He was wanting to focus on Legend of the White Dragon and hopefully move on to other things as well. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us over 20 years of Tommy. So
right, and we'll always have that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was actually, despite everything and my misgivings about Batman, so I was really looking forward to Legend of the White Dragon because I want Legend of the White Dragon because I want to support Jason David Frank and um, his endeavors to try to create other characters and expand his resume, so to speak. And I was all for that. And I'm very sad that he decided to not be with us anymore, and that this will be the last thing we get to see of him. And I am very upset with how it's been handled.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I think I would rather see somebody make a documentary on this entire White Dragon fiasco. I think that would probably be more compelling.
Yeah, and no, but at the same time, I kind of don't, because again, I don't want the last thing we get about Jason David Frank is being like a bad movie or a documentary about what a fiasco it turned out to be. You know?
I can understand that, but
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
anyway,
Maybe I should just fire up Tubi and watch some more. My was it My Morphin Life, his reality
yes,
show. I just watched
that
more
was
of that.
that was a good show. I enjoyed that.
I did watch the first
Mhm.
episode of that about I don't know a year or two ago, and I'm like, wow.
I liked whatever episode it was. He hit David Yost in the balls.
Oh my god.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
That just sounds wrong in so many ways. I don't know. We'll supposedly find out in August.
Yep.
And then
It-
and then hopefully there will be a power trip reunion, which will make a ton of people happy. We'll keep our promise.
Yep. And who knows, Jake and I, if we get to see it, Jake and I might jump on somewhere and talk about it since we're going to be left out of the power trip discussion.
Out of the power trip discussion. You can certainly send in some listener feedback, or I don't know, maybe we'll do it as a live stream. Just like do the normal format, but do it live so you guys can be in the chat and
Oh,
Or maybe we can
special.
sneak onto the power trip.
Yeah.
You got to get another infinity gem, for your gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because both of you were on Henshin Man. Soon you'll be on MIFV. So you want to get on Power Trip, you got to finish that Infinity Gauntlet,
hmm
I don't know. And obviously your co-host on here, so,
Yeah.
you just
Right.
need like a 5th podcast so you can have 5.
Yeah. Well, who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, for sure. All righty. Well, what did we learn this week, gentlemen?
Your sister is not your sister.
Not sister has a tail.
May the power protect you. Oh my gosh. Frickin' furries. Thank you for listening to Henshin Power V3, a podcast produced and hosted by Nathan Marchand,
Christopher Riner.
And Jake Hamber.
If you'd like to send us feedback, we'd love to hear from you. So email us at henshin.power.v3@gmail.com.
Follow us on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Thank you, Danny DeManna, where our handle is @HenshinPowerV3, and join our official Facebook groups, Power Rangers Legacy and the Marco Out Lounge. We also have a Discord server called the Marco Out Lounge. Check the show notes for links to all of them.
Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other great podcatchers. The podcast logo was designed by Rebecca Hudgens. Follow her on Instagram at super_r_illustrations.
Our theme song is a Joe the Hero remix by GVG Kid, which is based on a track from the video game Beautiful Joe.
All film and audio clips belong to their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended or implied.
Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podchaser to spread the word about the show. And until next time,
Schwash!